It's going down. I'm yelling timber, you better move, you better dance. Let's make it night. I won't remember, I'll be the one you won't forget. It's going down. I'm yelling timber, you better move, you better dance. Let's make it night. I won't remember, I'll be the one you won't forget. Ooh.
Ooh. Ooh. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. This diggity boy's a diggity dog. They have them like Miley Cyrus clothes off, twerking in their bras and thongs. Timber.
Face down, booty up. That's the way we like to walk.
Timber, look at all your stuff. Sure she will, but I bet she will. Timber, swing your partner round and round. End of the night, it's going down. One more shot, another round. End of the night, it's going down. Swing your partner round and round.
End of the night, it's going down. Swing your partner round and round. End of the night, it's going down. One more shot, another round. End of the night, it's going down. I'm yelling timber, you better move, you better dance. Let's make a night you won't remember. I'll be the one you won't forget. Down, I'm yelling timber, you better move, you better dance. Have a good night. You won't remember, I'll be the one you won't forget, you won't forget. Whoa.
He nailed that. Really good voice, the Kennedy Green Professor.
Grandkids of JFK singing Timber.
Let's just say, yeah, money in a thing. Don't get wrong now. Bully, right around, homies.
And then it's going down. I'm yelling timber, you better move, you better dance. Let's make the night. You won't remember, I'll be the one you won't forget. Going down. I'm yelling timber, you better move, you better dance.
Let's make the night. You won't remember, I'll be the one you won't forget.
Oh, oh, oh,
Oh, oh, oh, oh. Love you guys.
Well, that was all about JFK Jr. JFK and JFK Jr. and their family singing about timber. Timber is related to Timber Wolf, related to George H.W. Bush,
Yep. Herbert Walker
Bush. So, and that he was the one that assassinated JFK, and they're going down. Is what they want to let everyone know. They're going down. And why are they putting this out here right now, in the lockdown times, right? So we know that there is a lot happening. So that's just one of the things. I mean, there's so much that is happening all at one time. Well, you wanna start covering any of the stuff, because there's from the perspective of QAnon and the movement there's a lot that's being laid out, right? This time period. X22 covered it yesterday. I put it out on the broadcast here yesterday, where it's really about this from the time that the emergency took place, 30 days. Also, the 15-day countdown for the social distancing everything to end on the 10th of April / we're free on the 11th, and Easter is the 12th. So there's a lot going down. So what do you think?
Yeah.
You got anything going down right now, Tank?
Yeah, typical stuff. There's a lot of reports out there. Reports from one group. They're talking. I guess they're talking about the 10 days of darkness, stuff like that. And they're saying that we need to be indoors, for the emergency, takedown and get ready for the military to make an announcement. It's going to be painful, but, all these different kinds of things. I do not believe that's going to happen, not the way they describe it. I can tell you that the White Hat group, or I guess they're White Hats, they used to be or something, that are associated with the Iron Mountain agenda, they are very much queued up to go live. They've received orders. They're waiting on some kind of identification of some sort, and they're, they're all queued up for a, kind of a dangerous time, right? And they,
you weren't making a pun by saying queued up, right?
No, I was not actually.
Just check.
So they're, they're all watching. So now today, we saw that there was $2 trillion that was approved for emergency relief for people, right? To get money to people. And also today, I was supposed to have a meeting with the wallet people that actually took it upon themselves, and they went out and they finished the wallet system completely to the exact specifications that Kim described. So that's a very big deal, right? Because they had that ready to go, and basically all they have to do is connect it. And maybe that takes a week and a half or so. But now Kim was going to be on that meeting, but she didn't make it. She didn't respond to me all day, which she always responds to me in some way. So I take that to mean if she didn't respond and the budget got approved, and it was an important call, she wouldn't flake like that. I think that would mean that perhaps she broke through, and I came to some, agreeable terms, and I think that's, potentially the case. I can't confirm that yet, but I'm hopeful that's true. So that was pretty exciting. And then also coincidentally today, we had a meeting tonight with some of the elders from the Iroquois Nation, the representative for the Wolf Clan and some of the other Mohawk groups that are, part of Iroquois Nation, part of the Six Nations, and brought them together with Chief Tomahawk and judges and some of the other groups there from the Cherokee. And it was really fascinating, you could go back and forth on different trees and stuff like that, and the way to, the way of the Indians, right, and the way to live and to be one of the people, not a corporation, right? They kind of feel each other out first, to make sure they go, wait, are you a leader, like you're part of the corporation, or are you one of the people, or what? And it was really interesting, but fascinating. And they were like, they never spoken, right? The Cherokee and the Iroquois never spoken, and the Cherokee come from the Iroquois. So that was really an amazing, kind of historical event, right? And so on that note, we agreed to move forward, and we are going to run the advertisement to establish the People's New York State Assembly, but it's actually going to be completely inclusive of all the tribes as well, all the reservations here in New York. And so what that does is, because the oldest constitution that's still in effect in the world is the Iroquois Confederation Constitution. And that was established by this, I can never say his name. It's Hiawatha is one guy, the other one is like D. Donnelly or something like that, right? I'm sorry, Jimmy, if we're not getting that right. I've been trying all day. But anyways, And he's known as the Great Peacemaker, right? He went out to all the tribes and he established peace and basically took the best aspects of the different tribes to, establish and create a government which, for a long, long time, just kept expanding and was peaceful for hundreds of years, right? And in this, they actually took, like, for example, he took the best aspects, the most powerful aspects of each, culture, and kind of incorporated them into this constitution, right? So that's where you get the executive, legislative, and judicial branch, right? It comes from the Mohawk, the three clans, right? Which is the turtle, the bear, and the wolf, right? And they have kind of a matriarchal society, and they go to what's called the longhouse, right? And everybody has a vote and a say, and they don't do anything until they all agree, right? And everyone has a voice, and everyone wants to participate. So we were talking about this, and hopefully, looks like one gentleman who's the head of the Wolf Clan said that he would adopt me in to the Wolf Clan, because anybody who wants to live in peace can be adopted into the Iroquois, right? So now that would make that would go back, because when the settlers came here to establish the colonies, they got the permission to be here, right, and to live here peacefully from the Iroquois, right? So that's the Friends and Allies Agreement, right? They agree, like, you can pass through our land freely, without us harassing you or hurting you, and they established some paperwork, and that treaty, again, is still in effect. Now, the New York State, they acknowledge this agreement as fact, right? And there's many other court documents, and recently, like in the past, months, where they acknowledge that to be true. So that's a very powerful tool, right? Because they want those cases with the Indians to be in and out quickly, because they don't want anyone to know that in New York, it's the Articles of Confederation, or the original Organic Court Constitution, right, that is still in effect. And that means that we don't draw our power from the crown, but the people, the other people, the Iroquois, right? So the Friends and Allies Agreement is really an agreement of the people, of the settlers, and the people that were, that were the Indians who were already here. And so that's fascinating, right? Because that would mean that the highest court in the land will actually be this assembly that we are establishing, right? Wow. And we'll be able to, from there, be able to call grand juries and everything else we need that will still be in line with,
with New York system.
Yeah, right, with New York and state and all those things. But it's really fascinating, because a lot of these guys are hardcore, right? They've been fighting the system a long time, right? They're really knowledgeable, and it's good guys, right? And they were telling me some of the problems, right? Because so what happened is the Rothschild set up some, they basically, there's like money that was allocated to go to the tribes, right? And so the Rothschilds volunteered, of course, right, to help out and take over the bank. So they set up a bank, and basically they manage the funds. So basically they're turning all of the Iroquois and all the other tribes, they're turning them into wards of the state, right? They're making them citizens, basically.
Right.
And now that's not lawful, because according to the treaties, you can't do that. They can't even give up the rights they want to. But that's how they're managing people, right, with this kind of, socialist government program.
Well,
so these...
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to add that they did the same thing. Well, let's put it here in the Philippines. They got all of the tribes, the 110 tribes of the Philippines, to agree, that they would come in underneath the Constitution of the Philippines, and they were supposed to get a share of money and all this kind of stuff. Nothing ever went to them. But they, in essence, because the original Constitution recognized them as independent sovereigns here in the Philippines, but signing this agreement, they did under General Ramos, I think that's probably like 30 years ago, something like that. They ended up, putting themselves under where they didn't have to. They were already independent and in deserving a share. They just never got the share at all. But this was supposed to give them the share, and they still didn't get the share.
Yeah. Well,
Same tactics.
Same tactics. So what's really fascinating too about this, right, is there's another agreement though they have too, right? Now I find this just to be just an incredible witness of synchronicity, right? So the Iroquois are the seven nations of Canada, right? So I guess the Iroquois as well, or a similar group there, and then extends down into New York and stuff like that, right? They established and have an agreement with the czars of Russia, right?
Okay.
From 1771, right?
1771.
Right. But then the czars after that were soon eliminated, right? For the most part.
Well, the beginning of the 1900s, so it wasn't.
Oh, okay. But basically, the idea is that, well, it's not enforced anymore because the czars are gone, right? Is what they're on the belief now, right?
Right.
But amazingly, we know that's not true, right?
I think I know of someone that's a descendant of the czars.
Right, the Tsar collective agreement, right? So you have the real bloodline czar would be Kim. Now she's not laying any claim to that, right? She was raised in Boston. It doesn't, isn't trying to do anything with that. But what's very interesting is that technically, according to that agreement, right, in the claims on the land and stuff like that, right, that is Iroquois land, which I guess, I'm not sure what effect or what authority the czars had, but it's still interesting. It was just very interesting old paperwork.
Well, once when you have a recognition, a treaty between sovereign lands, then there's recognition between each one that gives standing between the others and the other countries that have agreements with either side, right? So
Indeed.
Oh, hi, Tui. Indeed.
That's right.
Hey, hi, Dan. Hi, Dan.
Hey, man, what's going on? So, check this out, though. This is really cool, okay? So I had this very old agreement, right? Right here in front of me. And in this agreement, you have another coincidence. Now, here's what's amazing. In this agreement, there's actually one of the people who sign off, right, is a Thomas Williams. What are the chances?
I didn't know Thomas was that old. But yeah, I guess so. He must be taking that miracle drug that keeps you young.
Well, here's what's so interesting. I think something else is interesting.
Not adrenochrome, I meant. Not adrenochrome.
No, yeah, not adrenochrome.
no intention of trying to put that on Thomas.
No, I know.
Looking more like the Chinese elder, telomere extension stuff.
It says here. Yeah, so it says so Thomas Williams was actually one of the Native American names, right? So it's like he was his name is Good Stream. He's one of the Tehara Goagamen. Well,
I get a good stream from Thomas.
Yeah, but wait. So now here's what else is interesting, right? So my contact, right, in this, his last name is the same as mine, right, from the Iroquois. And he was telling me how there's rows all over, the Iroquois Nation. I'm like, really? Now I grew up, right, in a town called Horseheads, right? So Horseheads is part of the Iroquois territories, right? So I grew up on the land. Now I have Iroquois in my bloodline on my mom's side and my dad's side, right? And then the very first contract they ever had with the Iroquois was the people is with the Dutch. Well, I'm Dutch too, right? So I'm Dutch and Iroquois and German, right? But I'm Dutch, so I was like, it was a big conversation, because hopefully, if you want to live in peace, I can be adopted into that tribe. I'm like, I'm actually from that land, so I have that.
So you like the living embodiment of that agreement.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. So Tui, what I feel very akin to, right, is the great peacemaker, right? Because he went around to all the tribes, right, in there in Iroquois Nation and other places, and he sold them all on the idea of peace, right, and getting along and working together. And I'm like, that's what we're doing, right? That's what we're doing right now.
Just a different time.
Yeah.
Just a different time.
Yeah, I feel that way. So, really interesting stuff, though, right? I'm just fascinated by all of it.
That's amazing.
Yes.
What's going on, Tui? You must have good news, man. I can feel it on you. I can feel your vibe.
No, it's we're just happy how everything is happening right now. The government shut down. There's no money. There's a lot of lessons that the current government is learning, and so it's accelerating the peace and the realization of what is most important, and that's to do with the people. So I'm very thankful I was able to jump in the last 2 days. I'm really sorry to those of you guys that are listening in or have played the show and couldn't get me. There's a deeper message to everything that I say, and if you're listening directly, but just you have to listen with the intuition, and then you'll be able to understand the message that I'm trying to actually.
Tui, maybe I'd like to suggest that you get a different type of microphone, right?
Oh, so it's the microphone.
Well, that's part of it, yeah. You also have a stream. You speak very, let's just say it's a stream, right, with very little inflection. Without the inflection, it's hard sometimes for it to come across, and so people lose the words. So it's just a matter of having more inflection in the inflection. When you speak on, have you you change the tone of it a little bit. That's part of it, but just the microphone will help because it's a little bit it mutes the words a bit. All right, so I think you need to get a better microphone.
Indeed. So I think I think you guys can hear me properly. It's just that I think some new people, it's the first time for them to hear me, and it's a little hard for them to understand the way I speak, because I try to think in English, and then I'm trying to think in Fijian, and I'm speaking in English, and so it's good. I'm very thankful that I'm able to get the message across, and I'm thankful to everyone that is listening in. Thank you to DANK to be with you guys today. It's such a blessing, and it's an honor, and to be in this journey with everyone around the planet and everyone that's listening in. Much love and blessings from Fiji. Thank you so much for your love, the kindness, for your time and effort, and all the energy that you've given in and working together, even though we are worlds apart in different countries. We recognize, especially the Tishi in Fiji, we recognize all the energies that you put into this great work of freedom, to this beautiful time that we're going in, and to all these small lessons and big lessons, and together a much, much bigger lesson for the whole planet. And I'm very thankful to you, wherever you may be, in whatever part of the world, whatever country you may be, in Europe or in India or in the States, in the Philippines, in Asia, in the Pacific or in Africa. Thank you, much love and blessings, and we are there already. It's already the beginning of the transition of the state of law of the sea to now the law of the land has been introduced. And so even though it's a new thing for everyone, A lot of people will be surprised. A lot of people will have problems trying to, trying to interpret the new reality. But that's what the all agreement are to actually come and change this. 26,000 years it's been happening, and now it's the first time we've learned to come to a state of rest. And however it may happen, we are already in there, and now we are beginning to realize that we are the most important thing in the world. And without us, and also if we don't have love, if we have fear, then we can break every illusion. And if you want to create new ones, then you have to create it out of love, trust, and unity and peace. So thank you so much to everyone. I know I just want to say hi and thank you, and much love and blessings from Fiji.
Thank you, Tui. Much love and blessings from the Philippines and from all of us. We really appreciate when you come on. We've got, it takes time for people to learn to communicate with one another. So what, Tui learned English in 2 hours or something like that?
Amazing.
Overnight, let's just say. So he does remarkably well at expressing what's going on in the Philippines, though it is a stream of consciousness. This is very short conversation for Tui. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
please, thank. Continue. I was really thinking about the native tribes in the States for the past few days, and it's not a coincidence that I'm listening to you, talking about them. So please go ahead and continue.
Yeah. So we have, the goal is right that we wanted to establish assemblies, in every county eventually, right, where you have people, assemblies of people, and from those assemblies, you establish your grand juries to hold accountable the corporate entities that are currently running the government as if they own the place, and to hold them accountable, right? So you have a reverse governing system. Now that's what's in the original Articles of Confederation, the Constitution. Like that's what should be happening, but because the people got so consumed with the day-to-day activities and just kind of struggling to get by, people started to accept that that's the way it is. But the reality is that's not true, right? Is that much in the way that the Fijian chiefs come together to make decisions and discuss things, right? That's the way it's supposed to be here as well, right? Even the idea of the House of Representatives comes from the Iroquois Nation of the Long House, right?
Indeed.
You have everybody who wants to participate. It's open. It's an open forum, but you make decisions, together. So, so now you can see now the Iroquois Nation, it stretches all the way down to like Florida and all the way out to Montana. It was, but I have more on this. It's really incredible. Okay, so I've for a long time believed very strongly that the Iroquois are descendants from Atlantis, right? And there's actually a burial ground up in Connecticut that was found it refers to the Iroquois giants, right? They were all like 7 to 8 feet tall, like on average. And the Smithsonian has buried this, like figuratively, right? They've hidden this information because it would completely change our history, right? It would completely change what we think is real or true or whatever, right? So basically, but that is why you have the football team here, the New York Giants, right? Because these giants were found. So anyways, you track this out, right? And the Iroquois stretch out to Illinois. Now, amazingly, we have this big battle in Cook County, right? Now, Cook County is adjacent to Kane County, right? Oh, wait, can you guys hear me?
Yep. Yes.
Okay. So it's adjacent to Kane County. Now, I've been saying that is Cain, like Cain and Abel, right? The Canaanites.
Yeah.
Because of all the horrifying things that go on there, right? So you always find that way. So anyways, you have this treaty. Basically, you had the Moors, right, who were like an extension of the Iroquois, right, and also the Cherokee, right. And the Moors laid this claim back. There's a couple different ones, right. And Michelle Walker was reading this to me today. So in this contract, it's so incredible. It's the only. It's a officially stamped, recognized as truth and fact, acknowledged by the government and the World Court, right? And it acknowledges the ownership or the possession, the claim on the land, and it refers to the island of Atlantis. And it blew my mind like that, and I thought, well, maybe it means something else, right? But then as you read down in the contract, it started talking about the ownership of the mounds, right? Now, not the mountains. I mean, I guess in some cases they are mountains, but the mounds. The mounds, in my knowledge, anyways, is referring to these areas where they have these giants held in stasis, right? And like hidden there. I'm sure there's other beings there too, and other technology and stuff, right? We also know that a lot of these galactics live in mountains that are, I guess you could call mounds, look like pyramids and things like that, right?
Right.
So, but it's amazing. This is acknowledged as truth. This is absolute, by the government, which, not that we needed that acknowledgement, but I just was so amazed that document even existed, right?
Nice.
Yeah, so I love stuff like that confirms that there's a whole other history that we don't know about or don't know much about,
Yeah. This was one of my things that happened, where I actually went on this Indiana Jones style Temple of Doom, looking for the Egyptian tombs in Illinois, and it had to do with the mounds, right, that were there. And it was on the mounds, and the people that were trying to excavate these mounds, looking for the Egyptian treasures there. So it
wow, yeah. I mean, it's amazing. It's like all that stuff. I'm just so fascinating.
Yeah, they were there, using that territory, right? Because they were, it was where they would train their priests. And it would just make sense that Atlantean type of priests. I'm just wondering if it was kind of like the area, because that's where they would train their priests. There was some sort of spiritual energy there. And I guess we kind of covered that because we were talking about that area having healing waters or some other kind of portal, I guess, being there.
Yeah.
I mean,
something like that, right?
I'm putting a bunch of pieces together while I'm talking, so I'm trying to figure it out myself along this path. But to know that there was a lot happening there, with the Egyptians, the Indians, were trade partners with them. I do know that, and we had record. I've looked at a lot of the records they had kept. They did it on stone tablets. That they would chisel out these tablets.
Yeah. So that's something. Yeah, I know. There's a belief that the tomb of Alexander the Great and Queen of Sheba or Queen of Bathsheba, I'm not sure which one it is up there in Illinois, right?
I did hear that.
And again, I think that this goes back to because I understand the graves are massive; they're like 9 feet long, right? And I think these are all go back to the same group, and I think the Atlanteans are part of something, they came after after the 5 original tribes, but I think that their role is to integrate and to introduce new ideas, but also at the same time learn from the culture. I think they got taken over by the Draconians. But also, so this is something else. All these things that were. This is all just today. like today was an incredible day, right? Now I'm trying to piece back. So I don't know if anybody, I mean, I'm sure everybody's watching with the virus, right? What's going on, right? Because now the coronavirus people, it's like the scourge of humanity, right? Like it's the apocalypse now. People are, it's amazing. I really feel like it should be settling down, right? So I try to put out as comprehensive as I could, some videos today, right? It took me, I mean, I had them all done recording last night, and then I just pieced them together to make sure I had the right pieces with it, right? The right information. Just kind of, I wanted it to be tight, right? So, but it's so fascinating what I realized in this. So this year they were pushing the flu vaccine everywhere. Every place you went, they were pushing this flu shot out, right?
Right.
Like you go into the store and get the flu shot. You go get, donuts, get a flu shot, right? Every place you go. I mean, it's one person was telling me they were chasing down the street telling they had to get a flu shot, right? So this comes from incentives they give people. If you get this number of people to, get the shot, then you get an incentive or a bonus, right? So whenever that happens, it's something that should only be handled by doctors who know what's in the medication and know you, right? Whenever that happens, you can guarantee there's a alternative agenda, right? So if you remember when we were talking about the mumps, measles, and rubella vaccine, we said that there's no incidence of wild measles, right, that is out there. It's not happening. Whenever these outbreaks happen with the measles, it's being caused from the vaccine. It's usually being caused from the vaccine from people that are asymptomatic. But what happens is they become carriers and they shed, right? So now they're contagious for the measles, but they don't look like they have measles, right? So the perception would be you need to get vaccinated because the person who was vaccinated didn't get the measles, and the person who wasn't, they got the measles, right? That's the perception they created, right? It's very clever. But in reality, the person who wasn't got the vaccine, got the measles from the person who was vaccinated. So they made that person a carrier, right?
Right.
So now we get word. Now this is actually on the package insert for this, or the prescribing instructions, right, for the flu shot. That one of the side effects is that you could register, or if you take a test, it could show up that you have the coronavirus, right?
Right.
So now I thought about that, and I'm like, well, just a false positive, right? But then, but think about what's actually happening. They pushed the vaccine on everybody, with the flu, right? So everybody gets it, and then everyone becomes like a carrier, right? And I think they were probably going to activate or aggravate it with like 5G, right? But it actually gets worse because the senior citizen population, they actually were given a double dose of the flu shot. And the logic was this: because they're elderly, you need to shock their immune system by giving them a double dose to force it to react. But in reality, if your immune system is already diminished and you get directly injected with a double dose of the flu shot while you're taking in all types of toxic energies from everything else, that's what causes the flu, right? Because viruses that are caused, viruses are because your body has been poisoned by something environmental or otherwise, right? And then what your body does is to get rid of the waste, it releases fragments of the RNA, which turn and mutate into viruses and spread out. And that's basically what a virus is, right? So, and then we got this virologist who was talking about it. So now, think about this, if that's the case, right? So that means they were pushing the flu shot so that they could have these tests come in, right? So now the World Health Organization, they send out their tests, right? And when they send out their tests, I think it's like a 24 or something waiting period, right, to find out if you had the coronavirus. And what they're expecting is, one, everybody got the flu shot this year, right? I believe you had to have 97% at like a medical facilities of fully vaccinated to get their bonus, right? So now you have all these people that have the flu shot. In other words, they're carriers for not Ebola, but Corona, right?
Right.
So now you got kids that go give their grandmother a hug, right? And slobber all over her because they're the kids. and grandma's eating it up, and next thing you know, grandma's sick. But luckily, grandma, she got a flu shot too, a double dose of the flu shot, right? And now she's getting aggravated. So why do you have all of these, senior citizen deaths? That's why, because they were going to attack them. This is part of Barack Obama's healthcare, right? And then more information came out about what's going on in Italy, right? That 3,000 deaths, I think they tallied up, and all of them except for 2 or 3 were senior citizens, right? And the other 2 were like anomalies or whatever, right? So it's like, well, that's not what we're being told. But I got that report today. I know that's accurate.
Right.
So you got that happening, right? So now, what's the next part?
The average age of someone dying is in their 80s.
Right.
It's not 60s.
Yeah, 80 or older.
Right. Like when you get into your 70s, then you have a diminished health normally, right? And this is overall. I mean, there are people that take care of themselves and they're good in their 70s, but others, by the time they're 70s, they could check out at any moment. Give them any kind of illness, and they can be checked out.
Yes, indeed. No, sorry, I just wanna share what's happening in Fiji. For the last couple of days, we had our first 5 cases now, and the first 2 cases already, they've already healed themselves from herbal medicine that they took from the plant, and they were able to, regenerate their own body. And so, like right now, I'm at a town near the what I might say near the city that has been locked down because of the 2 cases. And I'm just encouraging and advising everyone to work on the immune system and try and get the immune system into a state where it can actually manage itself. And with the help of especially for the elderly, I was able to do some chiropractic alignment to reset the nervous system. It will help boost the immune system, and with the help of the new enzymes that they will introduce to the body to help them, in times or ever, if it's just a flu, if it's coronavirus, we have herbs that actually can help out and just to keep the body. Because I think the most important thing that's been neglected is the intelligence of which is element within, or the awareness of the body. There's so much talking about vaccines and how we can actually to get the cure or all this, but ultimately it comes down to the intelligence of the body, and if that is not recognized by the people, that is not being taught by the people, they wouldn't know how to actually activate it. And it's I'm one of the reasons why I was not able to actually speak as well was because of my voice. I kind of lost it from talking to hundreds and thousands of people. Realigning them with their awareness and telling them that the body intelligence is the most powerful thing on the planet. With the DNA, understanding how it works, understanding how it's able to actually learn to heal itself. It is being recognized. So that's one of the things that I stress to, especially the elderly. And right now I'm going around all the villages just helping them out and taking advantage of this opportunity for them to learn about themselves. And one of the most important parts, which is the body itself, and which I call the subconscious mind. And this intelligence can actually heal its own self if it's well equipped. That's the reason why we get sick in the first place when we get a virus. The body knows that there's something foreign that's entering the body, and it's and the immune system works in its own way to try and actually defend the body. And if we can equip the body, or if we can equip and equip the body, and that's especially by understanding it. If we can do that, the body will be able to, just like the 2 cases that we have, they already healed right now. They're just waiting at the testing, but they're all normal. At first they said, usually people don't talk about the people that got through the virus and was able to heal themselves. They only talk about, they're so focused on people that are dying, the numbers of deaths, and it's taken, a very a different view to everyone, a view of fear to everyone in the planet, because they thought that everyone that catches the virus is dying. But eventually, now that we know that out of 5 people, 2 people are healing, and it's going to take a few more days for the rest of them to heal. So, I've right now the 2 cases that in the capital city, I got contacted by the person that's going to be looking after them, and he's a doctor, and he asked me about a herb that I used to introduce to everyone to actually get the immune system in a very robust state. And I said it has to go with the timing of eating, because there are different states of time that your immune system is very strong, and that's when you're hungry. When you're eating, it relaxes down, and we have to understand this about the self or about the body, and how to actually work on how to actually strengthen the immune system. And so there's a lot of understanding that that needs to go through to the people, instead of talking to them about vaccine and letting them wait for that miracle cure. Everyone should be able to walk on their own things that are around them. And these are well-known, these are knowledge that everyone should be equipped with, how to actually strengthen your immune system, and what time is it the most strength, or is it the most powerful during the day, and then you work on that and you decide what to do with the rest of the day. So these are like simple wisdom that normal people that with the body they have to truly understand how the parasympathetic and sympathetic state of awareness, and how the immune system reacts to those state of awareness of the autonomic nervous system. And so I teach that to everyone, and that's one of the reasons too that it's quite hard to understand because of the loss of voice that I have for the past 2 days. Now it's getting better, and I'm able to express what I wanted to express a little bit more better. So yeah, the 2 cases that we have, it's already been healed. Now people are changing their mind. Fear is turning into calmness now. So now they know that we can survive the virus. Because now they start looking at all the people that that already experienced the virus, and it's just similar. It has a similar symptoms as just a normal flu, because that's the only way the body reacts to the virus. It gets the body into a sympathetic state where the nervous system tries to defend the whole body and strengthen up the immune system. And so this basic understanding of the self or the body is a very important, a very important knowledge that needs to be shared to the people, because all their life they've been so reliant outside hospitals, doctors, and they've used their body every day, and they don't even know how their body truly works. And as soon as they get, the only time they get attention to the body is when they are sick. All the rest of the time their mind is at somewhere else. It's about money, it's about work, it's about everything else outside of the body. But like I said for the past days, it's a good time to actually reflect on yourself and reflect on the knowledge about yourself. And so, that's just a little bit of thing, a little bit of what I want to share according to our experience in Fiji. Now we only have 3, and very soon those 3 will heal themselves, and we'll try and control the virus from there.
I had my friend in the UK. He told me yesterday that the UK is planning on, having people that test positive, right? Say, okay, you can go back to work now. Now that you have it, you can go back to work, right? Because unless you're sick, it doesn't, and you have it, you can be around everyone else who has it. You're not sick, right? So be around everybody who else has it, because it doesn't matter. So you can go back to work.
If your cells are not toxic, then you won't get sick.
Yeah. So it's an interesting way of looking at it, and it's a very interesting. I think it's probably makes sense, right? Once you think about it, because I think what they've done is they put it in other means to get it dispersed throughout the United States. So when people test, it will be like, oh, like everybody has it, right? So panic, panic, panic. But no, if you're not sick, and here's the cure, you might have it, but it doesn't hurt. So go back to work. I think that's what we're gonna end up seeing is that. I do have on the video that I sent you, Tank, this little piece I'd like to play. It's a gentleman that's really talking about the virus.
Okay, cool.
All right, let me go ahead and put this on. I got to share my screen. 1 second here.
And Tank. People, sporadic looting will incur. Stock markets will plummet and tank.
Oh, there we go.
People, non-patriots will not listen to the president, but rather politicians saying that it is the president's fault will be pushed through the media. This will cause number 3 to increase, which is the sporadic looting. And also number 1 to increase, which means they will continue testing people and the numbers of people with the virus will increase. Not increase, but they will be said that you have the virus. It says in 8, first responders will be overwhelmed. Death rate will climb, not a lot, but enough to repeat numbers 2 and 3 and 1. So this is their plan that President Trump got a hold of through a military Secret Service officer. Another round test, it says another round tests are conducted, and then this process will continue to increase until there's panic throughout the whole world. So their whole thing is to panic, and they wanted Donald Trump to test everybody, and they were going to bring FEMA in and test everybody, right? So, and by them testing, they would say, oh, all these people have it, right? And that would cause more panic. Donald Trump said, no, we're not going to have testing. If you feel you need testing, you can go here or there, because he said he wanted it to be monitored because he knew what they were trying to do. They were trying to line people up, get them tested, and the people working for FEMA, which came into action under Obama and Hillary, would have said, oh, enormous of people now have the virus, and so therefore we have to bring in the vaccine. And this would have caused death. So Trump, in his smart, because he's not in this alone. Remember, there's 200 people that are behind him.
200 generals.
Said, no, we will not get people tested. You can get tested because he knows the symptoms is not the disease, okay? The vaccine is the disease, okay? So to push this, they pushed it through the media. And if you notice, 24 celebrities have gotten the virus. Say they came forth and they have the virus. They don't have the virus, okay? They're doing this to push you to go out and get tested so you will get the vaccine. So they're using the celebrities to get the public to be aware and then to begin the process. So they're using the media to set you up, okay? Tom Hanks does not have the coronavirus. Shaquille O'Neal does not have the coronavirus, okay? But the media, which is owned by the Illuminati, is using this to make sure that you go out and get tested and then to make sure that you get the vaccine. Because when you get the vaccine, you will die, okay? Because the virus is in the vaccine.
For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of election,
Let's
on
deal with the
intimidation.
realities here. You know, we don't have a...
Okay, so it was based around a plan that they discovered their plan, the Illuminati plan, and so they used their plan against them. They
It's
basically.
brilliant. It really is brilliant. I mean, what they've done there.
Yeah.
Confusing as well.
So they know what they don't want to do is like have everybody tested. Like, what sense does it make to test everyone unless you are sick, right? If you're sick, then okay, get tested. And, oh, that's what you're sick of. Right?
Well, there's two versions, though, right? There's the WHO version, right, which we know that 50 to 80% of those tests came out with false positives.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's massive numbers. I mean, that's
Sure.
not even a test, right?
It's not a test.
Now, but the Pentagon was sitting on the real test, which takes 40 minutes. And they were holding it back. And then Kim pushed them to put it out. So now that's coming out. Now, when people start going out and they start realizing, no, I don't have the coronavirus, well, then that's a big, that should actually calm things down, right?
Yeah.
But also, not only did Trump put out the cure, and I have great news, actually, for the, a couple of people that reached out who really wanted this. You remember the gentleman that we had come on once, and I talked about having a treatment for some different diseases. I'm not going to say, right? But he had a great history with it. Well, he has that same product. He's been stockpiling it for a while, right? Based on harvesting seasons and such. And so he had done a study in Brazil, and he had taken 4 people, and they had AIDS, and then 4 people, and in 4 to 6 weeks, something like that, all of them had their AIDS completely, eradicated, as he'd come to expect, right? So they had some leftover dosages or treatments there, right? So the president of Brazil actually got the coronavirus, and he used the same treatment to get rid of, in just a couple of days, his coronavirus. And he's fine. Right? Now, I don't think the coronavirus is a big-time killer for the average person, but the president of Brazil, it might have been. Because I believe that the coronavirus that's attached to the adrenochrome is more aggressive, right?
It's a different version.
Yeah, it's a different version. So,
it's probably the version they intended for us.
Right. That's exactly right. And so today, I was actually kind of having a bit of a moral dilemma for a minute. Or not today, yesterday, right? And I was just having some thoughts run through my head, something like, I'm like, wow. So, potentially, we reached out and we finally broke through. So there's some people that are in my network that you will, we're going to make sure that you get that herb that you can use however you see fit. And we're not saying it does anything, but we're going to make sure that you can test it for yourself here in the next week or so. But here's what's interesting, right? So finally, this gentleman and I and our team, we've gone back and forth a couple times to try to get this set up. And he came through, right? Because he wants to help everybody. He knows no cure. Because every time he's used it on very serious viruses, it's worked. And Brazil wants to order 200,000 doses, right? But remember, he got all his research shut down by the FDA. So, he doesn't want to get in trouble, right? But if President Trump, as he said, he's been getting rid of all the red tape.
Sure. Yeah.
Right?
That makes sense.
And coincidentally, I've got a pretty good contact that can get information that way really quick. I got a couple of them actually. And so I let them know, look, Trump wants to look like a rock star. We got something, right? And I explained it all to him, right? Now, that's pretty exciting, right? And look, they don't want you to say cure, but I have to say, I have a very serious resentment that any organization thinks they can be on U.S. soil and tell us that we're not allowed to say that a product can cure something, or you're not actually allowed to cure it, right? Because we have the right to life. I mean, if I have a disease, I'm stuck with it forever because these guys don't want us to cure anything. So, so I put that out, and I put it out publicly today. And I'll tell you something, I really really hope that the president reaches out and just says, hey, let's get that product going, because there's actually a very significant amount of dosing that would actually wipe out the coronavirus here in the U.S. How about that for a good day?
That's a good
So,
day. Medicine.
Now, I thought about it for a moment. I was thinking, if there's really a large percentage of this pedivore elites, right, that got infected with this coronavirus, and they wanted to pay like big money to get the cure, I thought, wow, what a great opportunity to capitalize. But I couldn't bring myself to do it. But
well,
for a moment, it crossed my mind.
Well, they paid $5 million, right? They paid $5 million for the cure before, right? When they went to Italy, they paid $5 million for the super dose. The cure and everything. So hey, $5 million now. Why not?
Man, I couldn't even. I thought 50,000 would be excessive, but now I realize, well, that's a bargain, right?
Well, means testing. It's okay to do means testing if you can afford more. You pay more. Now, obviously, they could pay $5 million. They can pay $5 million again. They had the means then. They have the means now.
And I think that $5 million was, for exactly what they got, right? They tried to buy the super adrenochrome vaccine that'll last forever. It'll be high as a kite on super adrenochrome forever. And now they're kind of
It's not working. Look at my card trick. My magic's not working.
Look at my card trick. I thought about that more and more because, so the, corona, the word corona, right? Now, around your heart, you have two coronary arteries, right? Both coming from the same word, corona, meaning crown. And you have 4 chambers in your heart, right? So remember, Ellen DeGeneres was supposed to pull a 4 of hearts.
Oh,
right?
Yes, that's true.
Right, and so there's something there with that was important, right, to pick up. And then,
a good point.
all types of really crazy things. But I love those, crazy little codes like that the cabal uses. They're a good time, Like, that should be their new gig, right? They should just, like, do mystery scavenger hunts all over the world and just have codes, and the rest of us will figure it out. It'd be a great business for them.
Well, we've been playing the code game for a long time. Yeah, I'm a little tired of it.
No,
what's a scarecrow entity, and this is all coded.
But instead of it being something that's evil and vicious and leads to raped and killed children and horrible other things, it's just good, clean fun, right? At the end there's like a prize. There's actually scavenger hunts like this all over the world, right? Where like you follow the clues and like there's like a New York City bench and you pull out like a tiny little envelope and there's a clue there.
Sure.
People do this all over. So the cabal would be great at that, I mean, if they just stop killing people and eat, raping kids. Hey, I'm trying to turn lemons into lemonade right now. You know what I mean?
I get it. All right, that's fine.
I get it.
Thanks, Joey. Thanks.
Take it easy.
Take it easy.
Right.
Play a puzzle. Here's a next puzzle game.
Give them something else to do. I'm trying to give them a job,
Yeah.
But anyways.
Well, they can play it with themselves on the island.
Yeah.
The one they get banished to. They get banished to the island. Hey, too, you have an extra island that we can send them to. That they can learn some lessons.
More than 200 islands here, you can get one.
So we can use one of those islands to keep them on. So not in New Zealand. That's too big of an island for them.
What about there in the Philippines?
Oh, there's a few islands here. Yeah, it's true. Well,
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I really want you to see this. I want you guys to see this video. I really want your opinion on this, right?
okay.
Speaking of, what I'm going to call I'm going to call this a false flag. I'm sure I'll get booed off the set for doing this, but while everyone's having meltdowns here in New York, right? I mean, the big thing now to do is to have these people who work in hospitals to oops, wait, that's the wrong one. So to come out in hospitals and say how terrible the coronavirus is, right? So the New York Times did not only an article on it, but they actually did a little video, right, with this doctor, right? So Dan, I just sent that to you. Can you see
sure.
if you can pull that up? Yeah. Okay, so I'm not going to say anything about this until we, Dan. We're gonna make some observations. We can just watch a part of it. I think it's maybe like 2 minutes or 3 minutes long, right? And I'm curious to see if you come to find the same things I do.
Okay.
So TUI, to avoid coronavirus, proper spinal alignment, right? Spiritual alignment.
It's loading. The New York
Yes.
Times.
Reset your.
All the patients in this room.
Okay. So this is Elmhurst Hospital,
All the feeds that you
right?
see,
About
they all
10 minutes from the house.
The frustrating thing about all of this is it really just feels like it's too little too late. Like we knew it was coming.
Dr. Colleen Smith gave a rare insider's view of an overstretched ER in New York.
Kind of getting worse and worse. We had to get a refrigerated truck to store the bodies of patients who are dying. We are right now scrambling to try to get a few additional ventilators or even CPAP machines. If we could get CPAP machines, we could free up ventilators to patients who need them. Five ventilators. Oh my God. We now have these 5 vents. We probably, unless people die, I suspect we'll be back to needing to beg for ventilators again in another day or two. There's a mythical 100 vents out there, which we haven't seen. Leaders in various offices, from the president to the head of health and hospitals, saying things like, we're going to be fine, everything's fine. And from our perspective, everything is not fine. I don't have the support that I need, and even just the materials that I need physically to take care of my patients. And it's America, and we're supposed to be a first world country. On a regular day, my emergency department's volume is pretty high. It's about 200 people a day. Now we're seeing 400 or more people a day. At first, we were trying to isolate patients with cough and fever and be more careful around them, but we weren't necessarily being extra careful around all the other patients. And then we started to realize that patients who were coming in with no fever but abdominal pain actually had findings on their x-rays and chest CTs that were consistent with this coronavirus, COVID-19. So if someone in a car accident gets brought in, we get a CT scan of them, and their lungs look like they have coronavirus. We were seeing a lot of patients who probably had COVID, but we didn't realize. 10 residents and also many, many of our nurses and a few of the attending physicians got sick. The anxiety of this situation is really overwhelming. All of the doctors, it's hard for us to get tested even if we want to, even if we have symptoms. We're exposed over and over again. We don't have the protective equipment that we should have. I put on one N95 mask in the morning. I need to have that N95 mask on for every patient I see. I don't take it off all day. The N95 mask I wore today is also the N95 mask I wore on Friday. We're always worried that we'll be out of N95 masks.
That's good, Dan. I think you get the.
Yeah, well,
You
it's
get
got
the
another
point, right?
minute and a half, but yeah, I get it. So,
Okay.
I don't know if she's ever been to a third world hospital. I've been to them in different countries. I'd say none of them have ventilators. Not an extra 5. They don't have one. You know, so just a little side note to that. But I'm not saying that it shouldn't have. But I also know that Cuomo spent what $700 million on a solar project that has failed, that could have gone to buying ventilators.
To franchise Leroy's Chicken and Waffles? Is that what you did?
Something. I wasn't exactly certain. I heard that today. It was someone, because he was complaining about not having the ventilators, right? He needs 35,000 of them, right? But he could have bought them. On the mask situation, they were depleted under the swine flu. Was it the swine flu one? The last one within
in 2008 or 9?
Well, it's when Obama basically did not act, but they never
they
never resupplied those under Obama. They used them, but didn't buy new ones after they used them. It's like, why wouldn't you resupply?
Yeah. So I want to point out a couple things about this very, very, very concerned doctor. Dr. Smith is her name. Dr. Smith, which I challenge that there is a Dr. Smith in Elmhurst Hospital. That, number one, there is no Dr. Smith. I'll bet my liver on it, right? Number two, she's talking about how, what are we going to do? But there's 5 ventilators that are not being used. How much of an emergency can it be? They're not even being used. Doesn't it seem if you had all this, that she was seeing 400 patients a day? If she was working 24 hours a day, she would have 16 minutes per patient. Okay? 400 patients a day. Then even the lines they have outside, well, if you look inside the hospital, if you've ever been to a hospital in New York, that place wasn't even remotely busy. Not even a little bit. In New York, it's chaos. You go to a New York hospital, people are bleeding, everybody's sick. I mean, it's crazy. You don't even want to go to an emergency room in New York.
So you're saying the whole thing is a fabrication?
I'm saying there are things that do not match up. However, I do have a press pass, so I'm going to call Elmhurst Hospital tomorrow to find out if I could please get a hold of Dr. Smith immediately, right? So I have some very urgent concerns. Or matter of fact, call and say, hey, we have a, experimental treatment that it's been very effective. Would you like to use it? Because you sounded very concerned. And she said it's almost too little, too late. She also said nothing that doctors would say. Everything she said was what you would say to make people scared.
Right. Well,
right.
I don't know if you caught this, but in the very beginning, when she's talking about the refrigerated trucks that they had to get.
Oh my God.
She didn't
No doctor would ever share that information.
Yeah. That's like
to keep all the bodies. We put this for all the bodies. No, you did not. Stop it.
Yeah.
Break. People take their. If somebody dies, they take them and they have a funeral. Like, you don't need a cooler. We're not like out in the woods somewhere. Come on.
Well, listen to what she says. Listen.
Kind of getting worse and worse. We had to get a refrigerated truck to store the bodies of patients who are dying. We are right now.
So she said to store the bodies of the patients that are dying. They're not dead yet?
Yeah.
You're dying. Into the refrigerator you go.
When they start to die, we're like, guess where you're going? The cooler. That's our new treatment.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
and then also, for someone who's working such horrible hours, she looks incredibly fresh, right? And then, how dangerous can the hospital be that you got a film crew in? Right? All you have to do to make a hospital feel dangerous is don't let people in. Right? While you're lying to them and telling them how horrible the epidemic is. And as lines form outside the hospital, you put up white tents like it's ET, right? and you make people feel like terrified. And then when they come in and there's hardly anybody there, they don't care. They think people are dying, right? Meanwhile,
Well, they're all in the cooler.
Yeah, they're all in the cooler. I mean, yeah, they're chilling out.
All I can say is that Dr. Smith just gave it away.
Right? I mean, it's like, is she even I'm looking for her face online right now to see if she's one of those trauma actors.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that makes
That's the
sense.
only Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
We're wise to their tricks. It's a suspect location for where it came from too, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna do the same thing. Like, my house actually looks like more of an emergency room in trauma than that did. My kids are all over the place. I'm all over. It's just so funny. It's like, come on, enough with this stuff. Like, they obviously don't have enough money to hire, a lot of actors either, right? We got a rare look inside from Dr. Smith, from professional Dr. Smith, fresh out of, med school.
Yeah, her age is a little young, doesn't it seem a little young? Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit
and
young.
then, now the new tagline, right? This is what all the, mayors and governors who are like, in tight with the cabal are saying, right? This is the new tagline, right? So de Blasio, who is, this guy is just terrible. He goes, listen, this is going to be going on for a very long time. He said, half of New York is going to be infected with the coronavirus. I'm like, oh my gosh, you did not just say that. Like, you know how people are just freaking out already? Oh my gosh. What's going to happen? They want to cause riots in the streets and chaos everywhere, right?
Yeah.
It's like, stop it already. Give me a break. People are going to be robbing stores by sneezing now. It's a new thing. So,
Yeah.
But I'm having a blast during this coronavirus. I built a desk for my daughter. We made a little show about it. We've been hanging out, QT with everybody. Got the house nice and clean. It's been on and off, like cold and nice here though. It got to like 60 degrees one day and 72 one day. Pretty good.
Oh, up to 72. The death of the coronavirus. Can't live at 72.
Dan, did you not hear Mayor de Blasio? Nothing will stop the coronavirus.
Nothing. Nothing will stop.
It's a juggernaut viruses. We've never seen anything like this. Not the Black Plague, not the Spanish flu, not the Holocaust, the coronavirus. Yeah. I've got 6 cures right now I can rattle off the top of my head. Right now myself. We easily will get rid of coronavirus.
Oh, did you catch that they were trying to hype that the cure of the malaria drug, right? Which is what do they call it?
Chloroquine.
Chloroquine.
Oh, chloroquine, yeah.
One of those. Something like that.
Yeah,
CQ. They call it CQ. So the CQ cure. So Trump was speaking about it. Someone basically saw that this fish. What was it? Fish food or something had it in it or something. I don't know. Something related to fish, preservative or something was in this, and they used it, right? and there was a pair of them, a husband and wife, and the husband died of taking this cure, right? But the media taking the fake one, the one that wasn't it. She just thought it was the same ingredient.
Oh no!
Right, and so the husband dies, but the media hyped it, saying, "Oh, the cure doesn't work; it kills you." It's like,
right.
Well, it wasn't the cure; it was the stupidity was what killed killed that man.
I
So,
know.
so there anything that make it the cure seem bad. Well, even Biden agreed with that. I don't know if you caught Biden talking about, the cure being the problem. He was misspeaking again.
So, multi-mineral supplement, that'll take care of it. What is the other one? CQ. No, isn't that an interesting name? I think it was a secret message for CQ. In other words, follow Q.
Yeah.
You can take hydrogen peroxide. I don't know what the actual thing is for it. Hydrogen peroxide, right?
Yeah.
A sauna. Oh, that's not an S. Not the easiest thing here. Sauna. I'll work on that. All right. And then a sauna, that's 4. So a sauna at, that didn't work. All right.
103
But
degrees.
Yes, 133. 133 degrees in the sauna for 20 minutes. Wait an hour, go back in for another 10 minutes. No coronavirus can survive. But I guess it's more in prevention, right? Because, if you got a virus, all the things that happen because of, like, if you get pneumonia, you could get rid of the virus. It doesn't matter at that point if you have pneumonia.
Yeah.
So it's different. But there's 4 things, right, that easily would cure it. And I'm sure that there's several more, right, that would. The hydrogen peroxide, I highly recommend. I think I'm going to do a video about these. Oh, and then, by the way, we actually have something else. We're not allowed to say cure. But we have a treatment that eradicates AIDS. I'm pretty sure it can handle corona, right? I feel like it can do it.
In this corner of the ring, we have AIDS, and in the other corner, we have Corona. Which one will win?
It's
Ding,
like
ding, ding.
Right. It's like watching. I can't even think of a good example. All I can think of is Mike Tyson. Remember how deadly Mike Tyson was, right? He'd show up in the ring, and like 30 seconds later, you'd see this hit come out of him, and you're like, "What just happened?" And I think somebody's head's gonna come off. He was like the most feared boxer in history for a little while there.
Yeah.
And then he bit Holyfield's
until
ear.
he spoke.
I know. How does that happen? So weird.
Yeah. There's a little mincy voice.
Yeah. That's probably why he got so tough. He's defending himself because of his voice.
Yeah, maybe something like that. Right. Well, I think we should wrap it up. We're at an hour and a half. I'm sure there's a lot more to cover. We can do 3 shows tomorrow to catch up on things.
This is my 3rd one today, so
Yeah.
feeling pretty good. Hey, everybody out there in the land of Oz, have a wonderful, wonderful day. The whole world's changing, and you're a big part of it. Tui, it's always good to hear your voice, man. And Dan, I appreciate you as always.
Yep.
Have a great night.
Hang on 1 minute. Let's end it. I want to talk to you a little bit. I'll say goodbye to everyone. Please go ahead and subscribe and share. It's important. We're breaking through. We're now having videos hit 2,000 views again. Hasn't been like that for six months, something like that. They continue to drift us down. Now we're rising. But let's get it out there. I know you've done it before. Do it again. If you've done it before, do it again. If you haven't done it, do it twice. Share the video. Ask people to subscribe.
They already took down views on the video I just posted, essentially. But guys, the 2 videos I posted on today, Corona Breakdown, Part 1 and Part 2, they're very clear and concise. They're easy to share with people who aren't believers. You can put them out there. Please go check them out. Right. That's that.
All right. I'm stopping the streaming. Bye, guys.